Hi, Sudha ma'am. Good evening.
Hi, good evening. Who's this?
This is Amrita from Simandhar Education, ma'am.
Yeah, Amrita. Hi.
Yeah.
So, shall we start the class or should we wait for someone?
We can wait for two more
Few more
minutes, and then
minutes, right? Some
yeah.
more people joining. Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
sure. Amrita, I'm joining in from US, so I wouldn't know the exact time. So let me know when we can join in and when we can start,
Six,
and then
ma'am.
we'll start. Yeah, because
It's
I
six
only know
o'clock.
the approximate time there. I don't know the exact time.
It starts from six, Sudha ma'am.
Right. So now what is the time? I don't know.
It's 5:59. We'll wait
Okay.
for more 2 minutes, and then we can start, ma'am.
Okay.
As I can see that many of them are joining. It's almost about 45 members have joined. Still, people are joining. Waiting for a
Hmm.
few more members.
Okay.
Just more 2 minutes, and just we can start, ma'am.
Okay.
Sudha ma'am, I think quite good number of students have joined. It's now at 65 students are available. So we can start this session, ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So, hello everybody. Are you able to hear me and see the slide as well? Okay, that's nice. Yeah, so somebody was asking, is everybody being muted because I don't see the unmute button in front of me. So the reason why we keep it muted is because we have large number of audiences here. So sometimes people by mistake keep their mics open. There's a lot of cross talk and there's a lot of noise. So we are not able to deliver properly because of the large numbers. So handling such a large crowd becomes a problem. That's why we at Simandhar, we have this way of chatting only through the chat box. Okay. So for people who are new to Zoom, you have a chat box and you have a Q&A as well, right? So chat box is for saying hi, good evening, how are you? And Q&A is for asking questions related to the subject. So here, the subject that we are going to deal with is an introduction to the BEC topic, right? So any questions that you would have, that you may have, usually the presentation is self-explanatory. I mean, I will be able to explain the entire thing. I'm going to take you through the entire process from the beginning to the end. Okay, so I don't think you would have too many questions. Usually people don't, but still, if you do have questions, you can put it in Q&A and I'll be answering it at the end of the session so that the session doesn't get interpreted. So because we want the flow to go on, so we don't want cross questioning all the time. So all valid questions we will address. We will not leave any question unanswered. They will all go into your Q&A question. Because in the chat box, the speed is very high. So because of the large numbers again, so the questions are just thrown into the chat box and the question will go up. Everybody will say good evening, thank you, thank you, thank you, and the question will go up. So then for me to pull out that question becomes tough. So kindly put in your questions in Q&A and hi, hellos and stuff like that in your chat box. Okay, so let's start. Now, firstly, in your chat box, please let me know because all this is interaction. How many of you are new in the sense that BEC is the first exam that you're going to give. This is you're preparing for your first exam in CPA. So how many of you are that way? Okay, okay. So that's quite a lot.
Yes, ma'am. Really, there are quite a
Vikas,
lot of
Parag,
member.
Ketan, Suhani, Tanya, Sudeshna, Chinmay, Bandipa, Hemal, Samisha, Ravi Verma, Geeta Kumar, Raunak Jain. Okay, so that's quite a lot of people. Now let me know how many of you are already done with the paper or are familiar with this. Anybody in this group who's already done with a paper or two? 80% done. That's very nice. Let's hope everybody comes to that level soon. Complete fresher. Okay. So, okay. So that tells me that most of us are totally new to this subject. So the reason why I asked was so that I wanted to know where to start from. Fine. So let's go ahead with the discussion. Thank you guys. Thank you for the response. So this is how we are going to uh, this is how we are going to go with the session. Okay, so you answer in the chat box, you listen, you in case there is any issue, you can't see the chat box, you can't hear me, there's a disturbance, please let me know. Sure, great, Sushant, fine. So first, welcome to this webinar and congratulations on your wise decision to join CPA program. Okay, CPA is one of the most sought after subjects now, and the shift is from domestic to US based courses. There is global acceptance of CPA. I am not undermining any of the domestic courses. I am a CA myself. So for us, while we have the emphasis on domestic courses, they have their own niche areas. CPA is growing in popularity, reason being its global acceptance. It's, many of us would like to move to the West. I'm already in the US. So, or you have MNCs sitting in India, which would like to have people with knowledge on US based laws and US based audit and US accounting rather than domestic because they have their operations in the US. So now the whole world is becoming like one small family. You know? We are all getting together and the whole world becomes, so the borderline, of course, Kashmir border is still very strong and the China border, Indo-Chinese border is also very strong. But what I'm saying is on the whole, slowly, you know, all these lines meet Jaiga from the globe and the whole globe, I hope, will become one family. Then maybe one day Jupiter or Mars only will be considered as like Pakistan or some other country. So we hope to get the world closer. Every day interactions are increasing, imports, exports, people traveling, cross-country, outsourcing. This way, it makes more sense that you work at you put in your efforts for a globally accepted course rather than a domestic course. The second thing is, this is off the line, but CPA is much easier than CA or CME, which is a domestic course. So the approach is also different. So we get more for lesser effort. Why not try it out? So that's why I said choice of CPA is an excellent choice. So so congratulations on that. And the second choice that you have made to join Simandhar, well, what do I tell you? That's also an excellent choice. Reason is, Simandhar is the one of the leading education systems here, and we are leading in terms of CPA production, and we are partners with Becker. We provide excellent placements and we have excellent follow-up. We have a huge team. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Parag. Thanks a lot. So yes, we have a huge team for support in terms of any issues, in terms of registration, guidance. So Shripal has actually put in the right kind of person in every area, as faculties, as follow-ups, and you have questions, you have mocks. They will ensure that once you are registered, you clear with flying colors. Now, Sripal is not happy with just clearing. He wants people with flying colors. We have had rankers, which is a surprising thing that CPA may rank, CA may rank suna hai, CPA may be ranked. Yes. So that's what we all target at, or even otherwise, passing quickly is very important. We understand the value of your money, and that's where we are going to. So having given this background of CPA as well as Simandhar, let's immediately jump into the water. So CPA, Certified Public Accountants, has how many papers, guys? Let me see whether you're all awake. How many papers do we have? 4 papers, right? So the 4 papers are: first, auditing; second, BEC; third, FAR; fourth, REC. Right? Not in it. Should it always be in this order, or can the order change? Order can change. Okay, but in order to qualify for your exam, in the sense that to get a license, you will have to clear all these 4 papers. All the papers have to be cleared, only then you will get your license. So what are they? Auditing, BEC, FAR, and REC. So BEC is what we are going to talk about now. So leaving BEC, let me quickly cover the others so that we go into BEC. Auditing. We all know auditing is a technique of checking, certifying, and giving an opinion on the financial statement. So that's a subject that I deal with, and so that is auditing. FAR is financial reporting. Okay, financial analysis, reporting. So it deals with preparation of financial statements. And if you look at a simple wording, I'll say it is nothing but accounting, but at the level of financial reporting. So you can call it as advanced accounting. Okay, and then reg is regulation, stands for regulation, and it means any laws, including income tax law. So that is reg. So having understood auditing, FAR, and reg, let's go to the subject of discussion, that is BEC. So today's discussion, the objective is to help you feel more comfortable with the subject called BEC in the CPA exam. We've put together everything you need to know about BEC, including exam structure, content, scoring, best practices, everything relating to BEC we will be discussing today. So what we did now was just a prelude. So now we'll be dealing with BEC as such. So you're going to read about what is BEC, what is the study content, what's the exam structure, what are the skills required, section details, how to score, latest changes, and study plan and useful tips. After that, if you still have any questions, you're free to ask, and then I'll be there to answer your questions as well. Now, BEC, the full form of BEC is Business Environment and Concepts. Okay, this business environment and concepts, so BEC, it looks at CPA's role in a business environment. So you're all doing CPA, right? So you might have two things in your mind. One is to get employment or to work for a public accounting firm, or to work for an accounting firm. So in due course, you will understand what is the difference between a public accounting firm and an accounting firm. Because in India, you have only a practicing CA, right? So practicing CA has his own firm or individual practice, right? So there is no public or private. Only in companies you have public and private. But in the US, you have something called as a public accounting firm and you have a regular accounting firm. Whatever it is, whether you're a public accounting firm or an accounting firm, if you want to practice as a CPA, that would be one intention you might have, or you might have the intention of corporate employment. Now tell me, guys, between these two, which case should you know business environment? Which case should you understand business better? In the case of corporate employment or in the case of practice? Pandya says one. Okay, one, both. Okay, so for both also, you need to know about business environment more in the case of employment. When you're working, maybe you're asked to give advice to the company, maybe you're asked to give suggestions, maybe you are into business planning, maybe you're into internal audit, maybe you're into accounting. We don't know which role you will play in the corporate employment. So whichever role you play in your corporate employment, it is very important that you know about what is business, how to, it's like organization, management, all this, O&M, right? So organization, management, business, what is business, how to earn profits, what are various concepts related to business, what are the various principles, all this we need to know. But if you're working as if you're practicing as a CPA, then also we would be doing audits, isn't it? So we would be doing audits or we would be filing tax returns. In both these cases also, you need to understand what is the business. For an audit, you have to have in-depth understanding of the business. Without that, how will we do audit? So, as most of you rightly said, okay, you need to have business knowledge both for corporate employment as well as to join a public accounting firm. And that is the reason why the AICPA, that is what I meant, Kronika, was that both for an employment as well as to do practice, point number 2, in both these cases, you need to understand business, right? Krinika? Yeah. So in both these cases, you need to understand business. So that is the reason why AICPA, AICPA. Anybody? What is AICPA? Let me give you a clue. American. Yes, many of you know it, right? So let me see. Yes, Arun Subramaniam says American Institute of Certified Public Accountant, Kronika Tuli, Raj Doshi, Sudeshna, Parshavan Kumar, Abhishek Sinha, Sai Geeta, Chetan Kumar, Pankaj Goyal, Priyanka, yes, Parul, Samiha, Sushant, Samir, and Geeta, Amrita, right? So AICPA is American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, and that is a regulating body which regulates CPA. Like in India, you have CA. In the US, you have a CPA. Like in India, you have the ICAI, which is solely responsible and a regulatory body for all CAs. and for accounting profession. Same way, they conduct the exam, they formulate the rules, they give guidelines, they give support. Okay, they regulate the membership, and they ensure that professional ethics are properly followed. In the same way, all that is done by the AICPA. So for CPA, the regulatory body you can say is AICPA, American Institute of Certified Public Accountants. Now, the AICPA has designed that in order to become a good CPA, you should have basic knowledge of 4 subjects, 4 topics. And what are those 4 topics? Along with auditing, FAR, and REC, you need to have a good and clear understanding of BEC. And that's why BEC has been introduced as a subject. Okay, so both for corporate employment and for practice, BEC is essential. Then BEC gives you an insight into a variety of areas. So what are the areas that we are going to cover? Oh, many. Okay, right from operations, how to take decisions and what are the operations and how to deal with operation, up to corporate governance. BEC is going to deal with all the knowledge that you require will be handled by BEC. Let's look at the study content of BEC. So, okay, why should we have BEC? समझ में आ गया. So let us go into the what are the contents, what is going to be there in BEC. Let us see. Okay, the content covered by BEC is 5 sections. How many sections do you have in BEC? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The first is corporate governance. Corporate governance. Okay, so corporate governance means, anybody? Let me see. We would like to keep the chat interactive so that people don't go to sleep. Now, wrong answers are always okay, but answers are welcome. So please give an answer. If you're not too sure about it also, it's okay. So if it's a little wrong, chalega. Managing the company, says Chetan. That's right. So corporate governance are rules. They are regulations which are designed by the company itself. Why? For the purpose of managing the company. So if one manager manages a company in one way, another manager comes and manages in a different way, it becomes very difficult. So the company itself raises rules saying that this is how we have to manage the company. It's based on COSO framework, says Geeta, okay, following the rules and regulations, policies, and code of conduct of a company. Harshika and Sumit Paul. Fine. So corporate governance is set of rules which are designed mostly by the company itself, sometimes by the law. So they could be internal or external, and they are designed so that we are able to manage a company, and it gives us guidance and help to day-to-day conduct of the company, how to conduct board meetings, how to deal with shareholders, how to do various business-related activities. So do you all agree that it relates to business? Accountable to shareholders and stakeholders. If you go deep into it, we will see that it tries to maintain the relationship between the board of directors and shareholders. Well, keeping that aside, not going so much into depth, I want to know whether it deals with business or not. Is it a relevant area for BEC or not? Yes. All of you agree that yes, corporate governance is nothing but dealing with business. So why should corporate governance not be an important part of BEC? Yes, it is an important part of BEC. So this corporate governance scoring weightage is 17 to 27%. So corporate governance weightage is 17 to 27%. Okay. Then you have economic concepts and analysis. Economics, we are all well aware. Somewhere in our degree, we have studied about economics. Economics is dealing with money, right? So in a business environment, economics, dealing with money is important or not? Yes. Business में पैसा से important, profit से important कुछ नहीं होता है. So business means dealing with money. Okay, dealing with money, very important, says Suhani Garg. Yes, most important. Otherwise, what is business? We do business. Why do you get up in the morning, get ready, wear that suit boot, and go to the office? I say, no, obviously for money. So if there is no money, there is no business. The motivator in a business is money. So economic concepts are of prime importance for a business, and those economic concepts and their analysis of various theories, various rules of economics, which are applicable in business, that is carrying a weightage of, again, 17 to 27%. Corporate governance, economic concepts and analysis, both of them 17 to 27%. Then let's go to the third subject that we are going to deal with in BEC, and that is financial management, management of finances. What do you think financial management deals with? Sources and application of funds, well summarized, Hamel. Okay, so how to obtain finances and how to invest them carefully. Okay, at what cost? So you have a choice between debt and equity. There are risks involved both in debt as well as in equity, and there are costs involved in both. So which situation should we go for debt? Which situation should we go for equity? Should there be both? What should be the balance between them? After studying that, then we go to the investment area of where to invest, how to invest, when to disinvest. Okay, so that is financial management. That is also a part of BEC study. So next, so that weightage is 11 to 21%. And then information technology, IT. IT is not income tax here, it is information technology. Dealing with, so if I ask you one word for information technology, give me one synonym. Use of computers to process electronic data, right? Automation, good, nice. So computers, automation, innovation, okay, innovation, fine. So that is what? That is information technology, systems, right? Right. So IT, information technology. So that is important or not? Artificial intelligence. Yes, we are going beyond systems now. Data analytics. Yes. So all those complicated jargon, it sounds very fashionable in the corporate industry today. Most of them emerge from information technology only, right? Okay. So RPA. Okay. So can you actually yeah, can you actually give that in detail? What is RPA? Robotic process automations. Robotics. Okay, so robotics, automations, artificial intelligence, right? So all this is in relation to information technology. So we all know that in today's world, we are going deeper and deeper into computerized organization. So at my time, when I was studying for an exam, when I was a student, there used to be manual accounting. Now it sounds like a dinosaur to you, right? Totally extinct. Manual accounting? You mean writing with pen? Writing accounts with pen, putting a line in between, writing debit on the left side and credit on the right side. You think that thing still exists? No. It's something that is prehistoric for us, right? It's like a dinosaur for us. But yes, it was there just a few years ago. Right. So mostly it was having a lot of errors, lot of this, correct? And lot of judgment was involved, right? So, and the volume of processing was much lesser, slower, and fraud, scope for fraud was high, right? So here there is a information technology has cropped in so fast because of its huge advantages. So now that almost every entity is into one level or the other of IT, right? So everything is computerized. Some are fully computerized. You have a paperless environment. You don't even see a paper around. You may have robots serving tea for you. And there are some where they are partially, partially computerized and partially manual. We still maintain those documents, source documents in files. And based on those source documents, we input the data into the computer, and then the computer processes it to a certain extent. Manual intervention may still be required. Whatever it is, guys, whether we fall into category 1 or category 2 or somewhere in between, who? Your employer. But still, you as a CPA have to have ultimate knowledge on IT. What if you have so-so knowledge on IT and you end up doing the audit, or you end up working with an organization which is fully computerized? Or over a period of time, your entity becomes paperless. Don't you need to have knowledge? Yes, you need to have knowledge. Okay. Then you have, so IT is the next one. And then operations management, how to manage the operations. So usually many of the managers you see are field persons. They are there when actual production is going on. He's wearing a suit, but he's running around trying to maintain the operations to an optimum level to ensure there are no production bottlenecks, that there is constant supply of goods, customers are happy. When a customer is unhappy, what do you generally say? When you have an unhappy customer, either in a call center or on the floor, what do you say? I want to speak to the manager. Call your manager. I want to speak to your manager. बोलते हैं कि नहीं बोलते हैं? So finally, all the problems are dealt with whom? The manager. That's why he's called a manager, right? So whenever we want to fuss a little, act a little classy, we say, no, I don't want to talk to you. Talk to the manager, right? So what happens? It's finally the manager who has to deal with, between the boss and the client. He will not allow you to reach to the boss. Somehow he will shield the boss, and somehow he will solve and resolve your question. Somehow he'll make you happy. Finally, whether he delivers or not, आज के दिन आप खुश होके जाओगे. That's the tact of a manager. That's a smart manager. Okay. So operations management. That is what we are dealing with. So you have corporate governance 17 to 27%, economic concepts and analysis 17 to 27%, financial management 11 to 21%, information technology 15 to 25%, and operations management 15 to 25%. This is the weightage. And these are the contents which are covered. Fine. Now, first question that rises in my mind is 17% or 27%? What is a 17 to 27%? Answer is, I have not written your question paper. Okay, so it could be ranging. I can give you only a rough range so that you know how much time you should allocate to this area. Yes, so cost management. See, different subjects, different names do crop up, but the question is about the 5 areas or the 5 content areas. So the 5 content areas are these in terms of BEC. Okay, operation management, cost management, derivative. These are also going to come up in some other areas, but basically your BEC syllabus is dissected into 5 main content areas. Yes, Dwani? Your BEC being one of the subjects, this BEC is divided into 5 content areas. Okay, sure. So when I say scoring weightage, do I mean that in your textbook, 17 to 27% of the pages consist of corporate governance, or do I mean your question paper may have 70 to 27% of the questions relating to corporate governance, or your marks will be 17 to 27%? Marks, question papers, questions and marks, not your study paper. So even if, for example, let me say the number of pages of corporate governance is less, but your scoring is 17 to 27%, I'm going to give more weightage. I'm going to study corporate governance 2 times if the number of pages are less. Why? Because the marks are so much, I should give it that much importance. If the marks are lesser, I'll give less importance. So that is your scoring weightage. Fine. So you have understood the content covered and the scoring weightage. Now, what does corporate governance involve? See, we are talking about the skills that are required, right? The skills are remembering and understanding, application, analysis, and evaluation. Remembering and understanding, that is reproduction. Some people, during my childhood, I had a girl called Uma Rani in my class. She was like a computer. I used to struggle, to really memorize. 12 ones are 12, 12 twos are 24, 12 threes are 36. For her, reproduction was very easy. वो पढ़ती थी और ऐसे बोल देती थी. So, remembering and understanding is one skill. Some people feel, what is a big deal in that? You're just working like a machine. You're not actually going into the depth. You're just saying 12 ones are 12, 12 twos are 24. Why 12 twos are 24? You don't even know. Did you add 12 and 12? No. You just memorize. You just say twinkle, twinkle, little star. Why little star? So we are just reproducing what we memorize. Good. Do you require such a skill? Yes. Memory is very important. Okay, so if you learn some law in corporate governance, you are expected to reproduce the same law. You can't put it in your own words. So reproduction of what you learn, memorizing and giving out the same thing is important or not? Yes, it is important. It is important in economic concepts, financial management, information technology, operations. My memory is important. Remembering is important. And then a little bit of understanding also. So instead of just memorizing, ratifying, it is essential that you have a basic understanding also, but memory, reproduction. Then you have the skill of application. Can you apply it in practical situations? Law to aapne padh liya. If I give you a practical example, will you be able to apply it? Or tomorrow when you go into a real life situation, will you be able to apply your knowledge? That is very important. Yes. So all of them involve application also. And then question is analysis. What is analysis? Something more deep than application. That is to understand more in depth, to evaluate, to interpret. That is what I mean by analysis. So corporate governance, economic concepts, financial management require analysis. Information technology, no. Operations management, yes. So analysis is corporate governance, economic concepts, financial management, and operations management. Information technology, not required. Evaluation, well, it's not required in any of the topics at all. It's not required here. Where is it required? It's required more in audits. So this is the skill level and the skill areas that are required for these 5 sections. Do we have any division between practical based questions and theory based questions? Sumit, unfortunately, no. You might have practical questions um, in MCQs. You might have it in Sims also. So how many will be practical? How many will be theory? Well, actually, in practical questions also you will have concepts. In theory also there might be a little bit of practice. You might have mix and match of those as well. Okay, so that is practical and theory differentiation. Just give me a second, guys. Just go through the slide. I'll be back in a minute. Can you give me a minute, please?
Sudha ma'am, not able to hear you.
Yes, welcome back. Sorry for the small break. Do we have to hard stop at 7? Not necessary. We can answer whatever questions are still pending and then we will stop. So we still have some time. Yeah. Can we overrun the timing? Yeah, yes, we may. Okay. So these are the skill levels that are required. Now let's look at the skill level of remembering and understanding in terms of the type of questions. So basically, for an MCQ, what is the full form of an MCQ, guys? Multiple choice questions, right? So for a multiple choice question, remembering and understanding is 15 to 25%. Application for MCQs as well as TBSs. Analysis is only for TBS and evaluation is only for TBS. So for multiple choice questions, you require remembering and understanding and application. For analysis and evaluation, you require, for TBSs, you require analysis and evaluation. Okay, so the expected study time, how much time do we require to study? 80 to 100 hours with the foundation of cost and management accounting, economics, and information systems. So if you have already dealt with or have a basic idea about cost, management accounting, economics, information system, with this background, you have to put in 80 to 100 hours of study time. These are the skills that are required for BEC. Let's talk about the exam structure. In the exam, you're going to have 5 testlets, means your exam is going to have 5 mini question papers, 5 different parts. Okay. So testlet 1 consists of multiple choice questions. First, let's do the bottom part of the slide. We said there are 3 types of questions. MCQs, that is multiple choice questions. TBS, that is task-based simulations. So what is a multiple choice question? Where you have, there will be one question and there will be 4 potential answers and you will have to choose the right answers. You have a total of 62 multiple choice questions in the BEC exam. In the BEC exam, you will have 62 MCQs. Okay, and then you have TBSs, that is task-based simulations, wherein you have to type the answer. So it is like a theory answer, but that answer has to be typed in. Typed in means keyed in. So though in this picture, I'm showing you people using pen. Are we going to use pen? No. So what we are going to do is to type the answers. Okay, it could be a research question, it could be journal entries, it could be ratio calculations. How many TBSs are you expecting to have in your exam? You are expected to have 4 TBSs. And 1 pre-test question that does not count in the score. So you can have one more question and that question is pre-test question that will not be included in the score. And then you have written communication tasks. What are they testing here? Whether you are able to effectively communicate, and that is essential for the business environment. These are tests to test a candidate's ability to communicate through writing. Yes. So In the testlet 1, I'm going to have 31 MCQs. In the testlet 2, I'm going to have 31 MCQs. So total, how many? Total, I have 62 MCQs. In the testlet 3, you have 2 TBSs. Testlet 4, you have 2 TBSs. So how many TBSs on the whole? 4 task-based simulations. And you have 3 written communications. So you have 3 written communications, 4 TBSs, and 62 MCQs. That is your exam structure. Now, what is a pre-test question? A pre-test question is one extra question that you will have to answer. You will not be evaluated for it, but that doesn't mean that you should not write the answer. You have to write the answer. Do you have to type lengthy answers? No. You have to be to the point and you have to address the issue. The length of the answer doesn't really matter. So long as, for example, when you're doing letter writing, you need not write a long letter. You have to have all the points briefly communicated. In fact, if you're crisp in your letter, that is much better than having a lengthy letter. We are not evaluated for pre-test questions. Okay, guys. So I hope I've addressed all your questions. Shall we move to the next slide? No. Out of these questions, how many are pre-test? We do not know. It will be hidden. So you will have to answer all 3 of them. One of them may be a pre-test question. Will it be an online or offline exam? Online. Type in answers? Yes. You will have to type in the answers. What is the importance of pre-test questions if it is not evaluated? They might use it to gain an understanding. If they give you, for example, I'll tell you the logic behind pre-test question. If they give you just one question and you copy it, so they give you 2 questions and they will choose. They will not choose. They also know before itself, but one of them is just chuma. The other one is the actual question. So they make you write 2 answers to know your overall capacity and to understand you better. But then they're not going to evaluate that. They are not going to give you marks. And they already know what is the pre-test question. So they are not going to give you marks for that, but still they want to understand. So that's why I said it does not mean that you should neglect the pre-test questions. Sure. Thank you, Bharat. That's your exam structure. Now, what are the skills that you are expected to carry on your head? So basically, there are different levels of skills. Level 1 skill is remembering and understanding. We said remembering and understanding is a basic skill that we have to have. Okay. And level 2 is application skills. That is 50 to 60%. We should level 2 level. And level 3 is analysis. That is 20 to 30%. So level 1, remembering and understanding. Level 2, application. Level 3 is analysis. So little bit of analysis, little more of application, but basic kind of skill that you need to have is remembering and understanding. And application as well to the practical areas. So you have to understand the concept. You can't just rely upon remembering and understanding and reproducing. That will give you only 15 to 25%, less than 1/4. So to understand the specific topics that will be covered within BEC, in corporate governance, you'll have internal control framework, the purpose of the internal controls and components and principles. You will have enterprise risk management or ERM framework, purpose and objectives, components and objectives, other regulatory frameworks and provisions. So that was what will come under corporate governance. Economic concepts and analysis, economic business cycles, market influences on business, financial risk management, like interest rate risk, currency risk, liquidity risk, credit, price, and other risks, and how to mitigate those risks. That's comes under economic business cycle. Then you have capital structure in financial management and working capital management and financial valuation methods and decision models. In information technology or IT governance, you have what is a vision and strategy and the organization of the IT and the risk assessment. Role of information technology in the business, information security and its availability, processing integrity, and systems development of maintenance. Area 5, operations management, financial and non-financial measures, cost accounting, process management, and planning techniques. Somebody was asking me, what about cost accounting? Well, cost accounting is a part of your operations management. Somebody asked me in today's class itself, where is cost accounting? Cost accounting will come under operations management or performance management. Now, let's look at exam scoring and other questions that you people have been asking. So that's why I said, let me complete this slide and post that. I'm sure many of the questions you have asked will be completed within my slide itself. Post that. If you still have that question, you can put it in the Q&A. Okay. Yeah, I see some of the questions have been very neatly designed with points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Clement has put it very neatly, right? So I will answer them if they are not answered in my slides. Okay. CPA exam scoring in BEC CPA exam, 50% of the candidate score is derived from MCQs, 35% is derived from TBSs, and 15% is derived from communication. Exam score of 75% is required for passing. So total pass percentage is not 36%, it is 75%. 75%. Okay. And then your total breakup in terms of scoring, in terms of questions is 50% MCQs, 35% TBSs, and 15% WC. Do we have a negative marking? Somebody had asked me in today's class. Answer is no, no negative marking. So if you give a wrong answer, you won't get marks for that question. That's all. They will not minus 1 mark from what you have already scored. Usme se minus nahi karenge. So you have no negative marking. If you get it right, you'll get 1 more mark. If you get it wrong, you will not get 1 mark. That's all. There's no negative marking. MCQ scoring will be with medium difficulties first. First testlet. You remember we had 2 testlets? Yeah. So you have testlet number 1 with 31 and testlet number 2, right? So the first testlet will be with medium difficulty. If the candidate performs well on the medium difficulty, he will get more difficult questions. Now you'll say, what is this, ma'am? Just because I did well, I'm going to be punished with more difficult questions. It would have been better if I had not answered them well, then I will get less difficult. You don't have to worry. Okay, so it doesn't mean that whether you get more difficult or less difficult, you will get the same marks. So why should I be punished with more difficult, whereas somebody who has not performed well in the first testlet will get easier questions? No. If it is a more difficult question, you're going to get more weightage for that. You're going to get more marks for the more difficult question. And if it is a simpler question, you will have less marks. So I never spoke about the marks per question. Did I? No. I'm not going to also. Why? Because the weightage will be in grading and not literally marks per question. You're going to have so many questions, and if it is an easier question, you will have lesser marks for it. If it's a tougher question, you're going to have more marks for it. So it is not that you just look at tougher questions and leave them and do easier questions. You'll get less marks. You have to answer all the questions to have a fair presentation. So if he does not does average or not well on the first testlet, the second testlet will remain with medium difficulty. Difficult questions are worth more than the medium questions. So you will have medium anyway. If it is very well done, then you will have fewer questions which are tougher based on your capacity. Difficult questions are worth more than the medium questions. This is how you are graded in your MCQs. How does the BEC class schedule of 1 to 8 at Simandhar correspond to sections 1 to 5? Well, sections 1 to 5 are content based. Okay. 1 to 8 are chapter based. Okay, Bharat. So these contents of 1 to 5 are going to be filled within the chapters 1 to 8. That's how we are going to deal with. Do we need to take a calculator to the exam? No. You will be going to a prometric exam. And in the prometric exam, Chetan, they will provide you with whatever uh, uh, infrastructure that you require. Basically, a calculator, rough paper, and pen. You are not expected, not allowed to carry anything with you. Chetan. Let's move ahead. Little bit more of presentation left. Let me complete that. I tried to answer a few questions in between, but in anyway, we are going to take up the questions at the end. So you have the task-based simulations or TBSS. That is more dreaded. Now, BEC CPA exam sims are preset and do not change in relation to candidates' performance. Unlike your MCQs. MCQs, have they already designed your question paper? No. Are you all going to get the same questions? No, you can't even cheat. Because the questions that you are getting are different from your neighbor. So you can't say, question number 2 ka answer kya hai? You'll get the wrong one. Reason is because he's answering different sets of questions compared to you. Okay. So, but TBSs are preset. Why? Because it's difficult to cheat on a TBS. And do not change in relation to candidates' performance. However, candidates can receive partial credit on non-research and TBS simulations by answering part of the questions correctly. So the common question that students ask me in TBSs is, do I have to write the entire TBS correctly? Then only I'll get marks, or half of them if I attempt well, is it possible? It is possible, but at least a reasonable amount you should write properly. If you write one line, that doesn't mean that you should get marks for that one line. So if you do a reasonable portion of it well, then you can answer it correctly. Written communication question scoring. They are also preset and do not change in relation to candidates' performance. It's scored by a computer grading program calibrated using human scorers. So how is written communication? That's also preset. And how do you get the scores? By a computer grading program. This is calibrated by human scorers. So is it computer which is evaluating it? Yes. So computer will not be biased, it will be uniform. However, if the candidate's score is on the edge of passing, her written communication task will be regraded by human graders. Take a look at this, guys. So that was your CPA exam scoring. Now some useful tips. Brush up your writing skills, because only in BEC, okay, the wordings you use, how you approach, they are all very important in BEC. They may not be so in auditing, not so much. Okay, so brush up your writing skills, allocate your time properly. Do not allocate too much time for the first question, or just because you know it very well. See, if you know one question very well and you answer it beautifully, and you don't answer the second question at all, that's not the right way. It is better to answer on an average both the questions. So don't spend too much time in, polishing your first answer. You please remember that you have a second answer as well. So it is based on your judgment and your tactics as to how you can answer to the best possible manner, but all the questions. Take practice exams. This is where Simandhar butts in. We give you a lot of practice exams wherein you will be able to practice. Okay, so this practice will make you more confident. It will help you in time management. The first question, even if I answer my first question, I'm going to think a lot. I'm going to be very nervous. I'm going to revisit that question. Then I'll scratch it out and write it again. The second time, if I'm answering the same question, it's going to be much easier. After a gap of, say, 1 week, 10 days, 1 month, I revisit that question, it's going to be much, much easier. So practice gives you the confidence and the speed that is required in the exam. Make sure your study materials are up to date. That's another very, very important point, guys. Some people, unfortunately, take a little longer to pass their exams. So if they take a little longer, and in the meanwhile, the study material changes in terms of some new rules, regulations coming up, some updation happens, please ensure that you don't study and write last year's rules in current year's questions. And generally, whenever there is a question, the question is most likely to come in those areas which have changed rather than the areas that were existing earlier. Was that a video playing? I didn't know that a video is playing. Yes, that is the updated one. 4.0 is the updated one. Use BEC as a bookend exam. BEC covers materials from all other exams as well. So you can take BEC at the beginning, know some material going into the other exam and can take it in the last and study less. You'll have a grasp from to the other exam. So what we are saying is BEC, please use the BEC which has the mock exam. Use the material of BEC. Is material of BEC sufficient or do you have to have other materials? Not required. Okay. So material of BEC is sufficient. That 4.0 is one version of your material. Like you have 2.0, 3.0, next generation. That way, 4.0 is the fourth generation, you can say 4G of your material. So, is that the right one for you to follow? Yes. Okay. So, what I was saying is BEC. Please use BEC material. BEC material, is it complete or do I have to do cross-reference? No, not required. You can take BEC at the beginning, then know some material going into the other exam. So you can see in the BEC subject, you can have questions relating to other subjects also. In BEC, you may have a question relating to auditing, relating to FAR, so on. Because here they are seeing your writing skills. How do you write what? How do you write what? So it's not a Grammarly exam, right? So how do you write other subjects? So you can take BEC at the beginning. Then you can, by taking BEC at the beginning, you're going to understand about other subjects also. So when you give the other exams, you will be able to grasp better. Find study materials that help you study more efficiently. That is about BEC. Now, how does Simandhar help you? We have live interactive classes. We have recorded videos also. Like I'm teaching you now on a live interactive platform. So like this live interactive, so that I'll be able to address your questions. I'll be able to stop when you ask me to stop. I'll be able to repeat the areas where you did not understand. That's a live interactive class. But see, when a live interactive class happens for about 100 people, we have more than 100 people here in today's session. So if a live interactive class is happening for 150 people, 100 people say, and one student is not able to attend because of a personal problem, then what? Then does he lose that? So that question comes in the exam, he will not write? No, don't have to worry. We have recorded videos. So that day's class, you can go into the Simandhar portal and click on those videos. So through those videos, you will be able to see that day's class. See, anyway, I'm teaching you on the system. You can play that video and that video will tell you the same thing that I'm teaching in today's class can come as a video orientation session. If you click, this thing will come up. So you have an interactive class. You have recorded videos also as a backup plan. How many times can you play the videos? Any number of times you can revisit. We also give you placement assistance program, which Simandhar is famous for. We don't give just false promises. I mean, the more it is said, the less it is. But placement assistance program of Simandhar is awesome. It is the best. So we have placed lots of students, not in one entity, but in many entities, and not medium sized, but big agencies in Big Fours, in Wipro. We have contacts with a lot of very well-to-do companies. So our placement assistance program is the best. We also have a team of members who will help you in your exam registration. You have a comprehensive study material created by Simandhar over and above BEC. And you have the power of BEC test bank, which is again the best. So we are trying to get you the best of faculty, best of exam registration assistant, best of placement, and best test bank. This is what we are trying to get for you, and we have backup classes as well. So this is how your Becker material looks. So you have module 1, module 1, module 2, module 2, module 3, module 3. So you have the MCQs here. Okay, this is a testlet. So this is where you can do your mock test this way. So you can constantly assess your knowledge, and this shows how you have been progressing. First day, it shows you have done so much. The second day, when you do more, it is showing more. So when you look at it at one glance, you see how much of M1 I have done, how much of M2, and how much of module 3 I have done. The entire F1, how much have I done? So this is how there is a monitoring of your performance, how far you have studied. That is what Becker helps you. You also have videos on Becker, wherein people from the US themselves actually coach you. US, in the sense, you have ultimate faculty of Becker who are going to do the exam. So you have a choice of 2 videos you can watch for the same material, same Becker material. For example, if I teach you on a particular area, this particular person, this gentleman is also going to teach you the same thing. So you can have 2 people talking about the same thing, and you can play the videos, you can any number of times, you can go back, revisit, you can also read. So this is an extra option that you have here. And then we are going to help you on SIMS. There are 3 types of SIMS. You have short questions, you have research-based SIMS, and you have written communication tests. How many SIMs do we have? That we have already talked about. So in testlet 3, you have 2 TBSs. In testlet 4, you have 3 TBSs. This is the strengths that we have. On-demand course offering, webcast course offering, 4 offerings per weekday, offerings on weekends also. Accounting, auditing, behavioral ethics, business management and organization, communications, marketing. This is what we offer to you over and above our study material. We have current CPA instructors also. That is, after you complete your CPA, for obtaining the CPA hours, we have so many webcasts which help you to gain your CPA hours. So you have on-demand courses, of which I've just given you a screenshot of the some of the on-demand courses that you can access even today on our website. So they vary right from accounting, auditing, behavioral ethics, economics, finance, government-related, regulatory, you name it, and we have it. So taxes, personal development, specialized knowledge, regulatory ethics. So on-demand courses we offer for your upgradation of knowledge. This is our team. We have more additions to our team as well. These are the people who are going to support you. We have more people. These people are anyway there. Beyond them, we have more people also. And as I told you, we concentrate on ranks. So this student of ours is one person who is from CPA alumni, Kavneet Hanspal, and he has qualified for Elijah Watt Sells Award. This is not an ordinary award. This is an award for people scoring on an average of 95.5 across 4 sections. So if you score 95.5% across the 4 sections, that is when you get this award. So this is a global award, Elijah Watt Awards, and our own student Kavneet Hanspal has obtained that recently, 1 year ago. Could you share this presentation on email? This presentation will also be available on your portal. Like I told you, you have these videos which you can access on our portals here. I told you, you have these recorded videos, right? So these recorded videos can be accessed. That is exactly where you will have my video, this particular video too. So we also have these we call people from various sections in the industry and request them for regular sessions on their respective areas of expertise. So these people and many more have addressed webinars at Simandhar for sharing their knowledge. This is over and above our study material. This is just to keep our knowledge upgraded. And here, let me share some of the pictures. So this is our presentation in Wells Fargo. We have various partners and we do industry sessions at various companies. This is Sripal sir addressing in Wells Fargo. In Reliance Jio, corporate sessions at FinTech, AIG, we did sessions in AIG, Tata AIG. Amazon, Infosys. This is a picture after the session, I believe. Synchrony, EY, Capgemini, Hitachi, Virtusa, Qualcomm, ADP, Novartis, B. Shaw and Company, Invesco, Citron Cooperman, Microsoft. So these are some of the pictures of the sessions that we have done. So let's now address the questions that we have. Is it written? So first, let me take Chaitali's questions. We are running a little short of time, so let me straight away jump. I don't want to give a break here. Okay. So Chaitali Dhani says, is it written on the face of the question that it is a pre-test question? Answer is no. That's the whole idea. We do not, it is not written on the face of the question that it is pre-test. So that is when you will actually address the question, right? Chetan. Then, Parag, how does the memo look like? Well, the type of memo that you are talking about in TBSs, I presume that TBS memo is different in different cases, depending upon the subject of your TBS question. So if your task-based question is say on auditing or on FAR or on regulation, then the memo will be designed accordingly. Utkarsh, why do we have pre-test questions in the exam if they are not counted? The reason you have pre-test is for them to actually understand your background and also to avoid cheating or by fluke. So they want to see your consistent performance, and that is why they have pre-test questions. But question is the time adjusted accordingly? Answer is yes. Like we do for auditing, while addressing certain technical issue or accounting treatment supported by memo? Yes. Yes, Para. Are 12 pre-test questions included in 62 MCQs? Am I right? Maybe, may not be. But their weightage will be the same. So you will finally get the same number of marks. Okay, so tough questions, more marks, easy questions, less marks. Are the pre-test questions included in the total questions, or they put in separate place? They are included in the total questions. So you will not, it will be mixed up. So you will not be able to find out, only they will be able to fish it out. Like the MCQs, we should expect a total of 74 questions or only 50 questions, excluding the 12 questions. No, you can expect a total of 74 questions. Somewhere in between, you will have the other questions as well. Laptop we can carry? No, laptop also will be given by them only. That's why they are charging you fees. So they are going to give their system, their calculator, their pen, their paper. Where am I in the US? I'm in New Jersey. Can we have one TBS as demo to see how they work? Definitely. While we do see, the reason why I have not presented a TBS here, I've shown you a screenshot of a TBS, but I have not presented a TBS here. Reason is because we don't know the subject matter. How can I solve a TBS for you without even showing you the subject matter or without even describing the subject matter? It's going to sound like Greek and Latin for you, right? So TBS questions may be in the form of number of MCQs. I can describe a TBS for you. So a TBS has no particular format. It is only a sum of a number of questions for you, or it might open up various options in a letter, and you should select in each case what the letter should be. So TBS has no particular format. It is just that it is a combination of MCQs. You can take it as a combination of MCQs where you have to answer 20 MCQs or 50 MCQs, or you have a drop-down menu from which you have to select for a letter. That's how a TBS looks like. But we will do practical TBSs when we do the subject matter, when we do a study. For example, when I do auditing, I do TBS on auditing. When I teach BEC, I do TBSs on BEC that way. Written communication is also typed or written on paper. That is also typed. That is also typed. Though it is called written communication, it is typed. Can we prepare BEC with FAR? Would it be recommendable? BEC with FAR? Yes, that is recommended. BEC BEC has all other subjects ingrained into it. So when you do BEC, you have to do a little bit of study of FAR also, of REC also, of auditing also. So BEC and FAR is a nice combination. Any tips for preparation for working professionals around how much time should they allocate for studies on weekdays and weekends to clear exams in the first attempt? Sure, good question. Well, first problem is the examiner is not going to consider you, whether you are a working professional, whether you are married, whether you have children, whether you are in a joint family. No. What is the only mode of communication between you and the examiner is your answers. So do not give yourself this excuse that I'm going through so much difficulty. Okay, so whether you are a student or whether you are a working professional, Your objective is to get at it. And that is what you should be doing. Okay. Then you would say, ma'am, it's so easy for you to sit there and say, no, you should study. When do I get back home? When do I cook? When do I reach back home? When do I prepare for tomorrow's work? And when do I study? I get hardly few hours. Some people say, I have a small baby at home. The baby will cry. So what do I do? Well, we have to overcome these and find areas to squeeze in time and put in the maximum number of hours. So the now hours that we have presented in our PPT is suggestive. Some people might require more time because they take longer to grasp, and it is more in depth. It's okay. It is between you and your computer. It is between you and your study material. Take as much time as you want, but try to fix a timetable, which is very crucial, in which you can squeeze in the number of hours that you have and the materials that you need to cover. So if you have, say, 8 chapters to cover, see how much time. So you have, say, 4 months and you have 8 chapters. So you have to do 2 chapters per month. So 2 chapters per month means you have to complete 1 chapter in 2 weeks. So if to complete 1 chapter in 2 weeks, how many hours do you have to put? So this timetable has to be designed by you because you have specific circumstances. You may be able to study on weekends, but on weekdays it will be zero. But I would not recommend that. I would not recommend, because on that day if something happens, you lose your entire work time. So try to put in 1 hour. Try to put in 40 minutes of study, 1 hour of study, or 2 hours if you can squeeze in on weekdays as well. Keep it going. Okay. Don't rely too much on one day because it is risky. Having said that, Becker also helps you to formulate a study table. The Becker portal, to which you will have access once you register with us, Becker portal will do a study plan for you. So also will our Simandhar team do it. So you can sit with Simandhar team, discuss your specific issues, and we'll be able to design a study plan for you based on your situation. So also Becker software designs a study plan for you. It will ask you a couple of questions. You have to show your concerns, and then they will be able to design a study plan. Having said that, it has to be, there can be no common study plan. Just because I study in the morning, I can't expect you also to get up at the same time and study, right? So you will have to design it, and it has to be tailor-made for you. I got my BEC and other subject materials in July 2022. I need to get revised books. Well, you will have to go through and see what are the changes. Some subjects there are no changes. Sometimes there are. Okay. So BEC, if there are no changes, you can go ahead with those materials. If there are changes, then they have to be updated. So you will discuss it with our team. I showed you the picture of our huge team. So they will be able to help you to tell you whether there are any changes and for which you need to go with new material. Parag. Then Joshik, can we get a supplementary for recent amendments? No, there are no such supplementary. You will get the entire book again, or you might get a soft copy of any changes. Yes, you get a PDF copy of the changes or amendments that are made. If they are few in number, you can go ahead. In REC, for example, every year there has to be a new amendment, right? So because rules change. So in BEC, maybe that is not required. So you can get a PDF for the changes. Good idea. Okay, Joshi. Then Nitin, will all these sessions be available on YouTube? Not on YouTube, but on Simandhar. Simandhar portal, you will have a link based on the date of the class. So all of them will be available there. Tanya says, what will be the prescribed sequence? Will we take multiple subjects at one time? I would not advise you to do that, Tanya. and the sequence depends upon your comfort. So if you're comfortable with auditing, go with auditing. If you're comfortable with BEC, go with BEC. If you're comfortable with accounting, go with accounting. So it is your comfort zone that you should first try out on. Also go with the flow of Simandhar classes. So if the classes are starting for BEC, go with BEC. And if you're not able to decide which subject to go, and that will give you an idea on what is involved in BEC and how you have to do it. So that's the order, but there's no predetermined order that everybody has to follow the same order. Harshika, are the live classes recorded and put on the portal on the same day? No, they'll take a couple of days, Harshika, but all of them are recorded and all of them are invariably put on the portal. They are updated. There will not be a single class that will be missed out. Any more questions, guys? Does TBS require a lot of typing? No, because most of the TBSs are like MCQs themselves. There will be a drop-down menu, so you don't have to write pages and pages of answers. Okay, so I've answered all the questions on the Q&A. If you still have questions, you could still put it on the Q&A. Okay, so from 4.0, let me address all the questions again. 4.0 is a new version, guys, like generation 4. So we sometimes had material number 1 and then material 2.0, material 3.0 version, 4.0, that's what. So 4.0 is the latest version. When does the portion get revised? Cycle of portion revision. There's no particular timing when the portion gets revised. Some of the subjects don't get revised at all. So that was answering Sumit Paul and Parag Pandya's questions on the chat box. And then Deepesh Jain, when does the portion get revised? There's no particular cycle. Any portion may get revised at any point of time. It may never get revised also. Depends on the subject. For as I told you, reg gets revised very often because it's rules and laws and income tax laws which get revised year on year. But some subjects, BEC doesn't get revised very often. Reason is because it is business management. So what is a big change unless there is a change in law? Syllabus expansion, contraction, not much. Suhani, are there revision batches before the exam? Well, as I told you, because you have videos which can be accessed, there is no question of revision batches as such, but we will be doing a brief at the end of various questions. And as and when we teach also, we will be dealing with some of the MCQs and TBSs. So you can re-access those questions again. You can re-access those videos again, and that will be the revision for you. Can you, ma'am, can you please tell us about unlimited exams more? So unlimited exams, the total exams are 4, okay, 4 different subjects, and each of these subjects, or once you register for one exam, you will have to clear all the exams in 18 months. And now you do not have those calendars, windows, which you used to have before. Earlier, the exams would be conducted. For example, in India, we have the exams conducted in May, and then we have the exams conducted in November. So only twice a year. I can't write an exam in July. I can't write an exam in December. So that is limited windows. Okay. So in CPA, we had 4 windows earlier, 3 windows and then 4 windows. Now you have unlimited. So you can write the exam anytime. You can write the exam now, and then 1 month later you can write the next exam. You can that flow is there anytime, 365 days. And that's how it has been redesigned. That's good for us, right? Venkatesh. So unlimited exams are available even today. Sudeshna Ganguly, 4 in total. Yes, 4 papers in total. Krunika, all written questions are compulsory to attempt. There won't be any choice, right, ma'am? No choice at all. No choice, no negative marking. Krunika. Good news, no negative marking. Bad news, no choice. Krishna, table of contents which have been mentioned before, is it a part of the syllabus of for CPA exams? You're right, Krishna Prasad. That is a part of your CPA exam schedule. Then, Samir, could you share this presentation on email? Yeah, that question I've addressed. It is available in the Simandhar portal for you. How are we writing tasks to be checked? How are writing tasks to be checked? Well, in BEC, the language that you use, your vocabulary, your grammar, which line you use, how you put commas, full stops, all of them matter because it is your writing skill. How well you deliver, crisp, subject matter, is it clear, no confusion? All these are ways of analyzing your writing skills. Hi, ma'am, could you please explain the unlimited mock exam part, please, Venkatesh? So, Krunika, I hope I have answered your question. Mock exams are exams containing all the chapters put together, exactly like your exam situation. So, initially, as you go chapter wise, you will have mini exams there relating to that chapter. Please do that as well. Doesn't mean that you should only do mock. But finally, when you're done with all the chapters, you can do the mock exam, which will cover all the questions. Venkatesh, that is it. So in Becker, you have a lot of mock exams, and that is the plus point in Becker. I told you the best thing about Becker is the mock exams that they offer, which is not offered by anybody else. Shalini Kumar says, thanks a lot. What are CPE hours? CPE hours, like your CA, are for upgrading your knowledge. So for that also, Simandhar provides you, for all the alumni students who have qualified, extra knowledge in case you're interested. Okay. Parshav Kumar, Shalini Kumar. Dhvani. Ma'am, as you mentioned, calculator is provided. Is there any available on PC if one wishes to use a physical calculator? Yeah, it's not PC. They'll give you physical calculator itself, but not a scientific calculator. The one PC is not comfortable. I also understand what you mean. I mean, we can run our fingers fast on a physical calculator, but to put it on PC, do you have to move the cursor here and there? You can't use the same speed, but they'll give you physical calculators. Dhvani. Bharat, where in the US are you based? Are we permitted to reach out for questions directly to you, time zones permitting? Yeah, you can put your questions on WhatsApp and I'll be able to answer them. Also, I mean, physically visiting me in US is going to be very difficult looking at the distances, but yes, you can always raise questions, and based on Eastern time, I will be answering them whenever I look at those questions. Bharat. Then, are the Simandhar notes revisionary summarized? Yes. They revisionary, or they are summarized, or they are in detail. They are in detail. They are also containing all the important points. So they are not too much in to blah blah, but they cover with reasonable detail. Dhvani. Then, Suhani, do we get results immediately after the exam? No, it takes about 2 weeks to 1 month for the results to come. And that's it, Suhani. So you can start preparing for the next exam in the meantime. Priya, what's your opinion on taking BEC as a first exam? Excellent idea, Priya. Priya Babu, please go ahead. Khushbu, how many hours we need to study in a week? As many as you can. Maybe if you can put in 2 hours or an hour every day, but in the weekends you can put in more hours. It depends on your schedule, your time. Shalini says thank you. Pandya says, Parag Pandya says thank you. Anusha says Simandhar and Becker should be parallelly taken for the preparation of the exam. That's your choice, Anusha. You can take whenever you want. You can revisit. These are all videos at your in your hand. So you can click the button. You can go back. You can go forward. You can do whatever you want. So however you are comfortable, according to your comfort, you can take. Okay, Anusha. Dhwani, are there enough practice questions discussed and solved in the class? Right. So there will be sufficient practice questions to explain the matter to you, but practice faculty cannot do for you, Dhwani. You will have to do on your own. So it is for you to take up those practice questions which are available in the website and do practice. Explanation will be done in the class. In what sequence shall we go? Well, as I already explained, BEC, you can go first. Ma'am, who will evaluate the written communication questions? They are done online itself. As I explained in the website, in the PPT, they are done by computers, but those computers are fed by human resources. Now, so if you're in the borderline, then human beings would manually be checking your written communication to see whether you have passed or not. I need to drop off now. Okay, I have to drop off now. I have received it today, the Becker textbook, very good. Is the subject matter independent and not interrelated to each other? No, they are interrelated, Geeta. Does TBS questions require lot of typing? No, not much of typing. They are all drop down menu and MCQ based sometimes a little bit of typing. So as I said, TBSs don't have a particular format. 1 to 5 content based on how and how about section 5 onwards. So all these sections are content based. Atkinson.hanover.com. That's the email of whom? Ma'am, you mentioned calculators provided. Is it available on PC? No, not PC Dhwani. It is the physical calculator. Can we complete US CPA in 1 year? You must. Many people have. I'm sure you too can. Taloji Rajshekhar. Thank you, ma'am. Greatly appreciated. Enjoy your stay in NGA. Thank you, Parag. What are CPE hours? As I explained, it is for updating your knowledge. Post qualification also. When will we have the first class for BEC? Soon. You will be communicated the schedule soon. So once you do that, it will be starting maybe within a month. Thank you for the great session. Insightful, sets the tone for the subject. Thank you so much, Sushant. That's very sweet of you. But up to 2nd April onwards, you can see it on the portal. Yeah, that's about the schedule. Parag is answering your question on schedule. So 2nd April onwards. Uday Mazumdar, thanks. Thank you. You're welcome. Tanya said if we receive books now and the course changes, then what will happen? So if you receive books, these are applicable for the immediate batch. So go ahead and write the exam immediately. So if in case there is a change by the time you qualify, you will be updated too. And in the class, we teach from the updated version only. How will you guide us in writing skills? Writing skills also, there are classes, so we will be dealing with that as well. Like your letter writing skills in the same way. Can we complete CPA in 6 months? 6 months is a little tough to do, but you can try. Okay. You can write register for 2 exams at one shot. Again, our team will be helping you on that. Simandhar notes revisionary or summarize? Yes, they are revisionary. Is there each subject independent or interrelated to each other? Yes. Are there enough practice questions discussed and solved in the live class? Yes. Great. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the insight. Priya Babu, Srinu, Abhishek, Harshika. Thank you. Junaid Rahman. You're all welcome. So sweet of you to have come and participated. Any further questions also? Arun Subramaniam, Dwani Thakkar, all of them are saying thank you. Samita Sultana. Thank you all guys for participation. Any further questions? This is not the end of it. This is only the beginning. So any further questions? We are still there for you. So we have a long way to go. So see you all. Wishing you all the best. Hope the session was useful. Take care and bye-bye.